views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you are encouraged to like and share them on Facebook and other social media. It's time for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show with Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're so happy you're here. My guest today is no stranger to the show, and she is from the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, and Melanie Wiles is here today to give us an update on some of the things that Boys and Girls Club have been up to, and some of the programs moving on toward the future. Now, just last week at the Treasure Coast Business Summit, boy, this is really muffling me really bad. Maybe I should spread it out. Is that better? Okay, but then it covers my eyes. Okay. Oh, that's better. At the Treasure Coast Business Summit last week, I was lucky enough to hear the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year speaking at the chamber after hours that was immediately following the summit. And it was, every year we've either had her or him, whoever Youth of the Year is, on the show, or I've had the opportunity to listen to them sometimes on the night of the competition itself, and sometimes following. Melanie, before we get started talking about some other things, tell us a little bit about the Youth of the Year and the competition and where those kids go off to, because some of them are going off to college and then turning around and inspiring other people.
Absolutely. So I've been very fortunate to have been with Boys and Girls Club for so many years that I actually hear back from so many of our members that were Youth of the Year, and now they're off in the areas of biomedical science. They're raising their own families. Some are lawyers. Some have gone into the field of social work. And one common thread for all these Boys and Girls Club alumni is that they're able to get back in contact with us and tell us that the club has changed their life, and the Youth of the Year process was a huge stepping stone for them to come out of their shell, to be advocates for other children, and really taught them some leadership skills as far as speaking in public, writing essays, the interview process, some of those soft skills that have really made an impact on them, not just in post-secondary education and them going on to college, but at this point in their jobs and their careers.
And they also learn, because you give them, you don't just say, go and write your speech and practice your speech to be Youth of the Year. You give them tips all along the way to get what they present to be the best that it can be. And part of what you're encouraging them to do is to show people what's important to them and what's made them what they are. And those are talents that if you're competing in Youth of the Year, whether you're the winner or not, you're going to need that for college essays. You're going to need that for cover letters, for when you're applying for jobs. You're going to need that all along, the ability to take a mirror and hold it up and be able to tell people what you see in a positive way.
The Youth of the Year program, it prepares the teens for their next step beyond high school, and it does give them a toolkit to work with. And at the same time, the thing I love about that program is that it influences the community, and it teaches the community about the challenges of our teenagers and our children. It teaches them about areas that we're doing a good job in St. Lucie County, areas that we can improve upon. And sometimes when people don't have access to kids, what if you are retired and your kids are grown? This is kind of getting that teenage voice back in front of you, just to where you're getting to learn that perspective again, and showing the community that our teens are very bright and that they're shaping themselves to be good citizens, and we have something to look forward to.
And they're not afraid to ask for what they want, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
really, really important. There's so many times where I have seen in the years teaching high school, I've seen kids who are smart and talented and funny step back and let other people always be the one in charge of the group, the one in charge of the project, and or make them feel like they were less than the smartest person in the room when they were in fact. So knowing your worth, knowing to be able to, and having the wherewithal to be able to promote yourself, talk about yourself without sounding all braggy and arrogant. I would say is a common theme of what I've heard with not just the winners of your Youth of the Year, but the other students that attend as teenagers, especially the Boys and Girls Club programs. And I know that you're going to talk about some other programs, especially for the older youth. And some of them have gotten more attention lately, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about that Earn and Learn program that I'm so excited about seeing how St. Lucie County businesses have embraced it.
Yes, so we're so excited. A couple years back, we decided as an organization to start investing in workforce readiness programming for our teens and even our tweens. You know, we like to start very young to start exposing our youth to these wonderful opportunities and future careers here, even in St. Lucie County. So we've done a couple of summers now where the teenagers had opportunities to work. And we actually, the program as a whole is what we're calling it, is Into the Future. So the kids have a couple different elements that they're exposed to during this program. One is the fact that they have jobs or internships. And this past summer, we had 156 teens in the middle of a pandemic that either were on an internship or had a paid job.
Wow.
And that's pretty phenomenal.
And that, especially considering, like you said, in the middle of a pandemic, can you imagine what it would have been if it hadn't been for the pandemic?
Oh, I know. It was literally, there was kids wandering the streets. They were looking for things. They were looking for ways to give back. And many of them started by wanting to volunteer with us to give out food to the community back in April. And then that led to them obtaining some sort of employment and having this wonderful summer. So during the week, they were working Monday through Thursday. And then every Friday, they participated in the YES program from CareerSource that built up their soft skills. And then we also partnered with the Economic Development Council of St. Lucie County and hosted virtual boot camp. So every Friday we would tap into a local business, whether it was a manufacturer or maybe something with marine biology. I mean, there was all different businesses that participated, and the teenagers got to learn about all aspects of the business, what type of schooling they would need, or trade work they'd have to learn to get there, what the pay would be. So it really gave them a really great perspective on what's available here for them.
What's neat about it is it doesn't just show them what they might be interested in. It lets them get an eyeful of what they're not interested in before they go to college or to some type of technical school and study it for 2 years or 4 years and then come out and decide that's not their cup of tea. They get an opportunity to try and then see what the other teens are doing and get an idea of the whole big picture of, because sometimes your teenagers might, and I'm not just talking about the Boys and Girls Club teenagers, but everyone's teenagers might have an idea of what an occupation looks like and what it's going to be like, and it's not really based in reality at all. So you're teaching them real life skills and real life ideas, and they get to see what their life is going to be beyond the school life. beyond their young life, and that is so cool. And then their brothers and sisters get to see it too. Their younger brothers and sisters.
And they're learning decision making now so based off of some of the programs they attend or the internship they have, they're getting a paycheck based off of that. So they're learning right away, if you show up and you're doing the steps you need to, you will get paid. And many of our teens, this was their first paycheck they ever earned. Many of them use that money to support their families right now, which was a huge need. And then coming out of the summer, what we learned is all those teens came up to us and said, I still want to work. Where can you make a connection for me? I still want something. I need an income. And so as we started to dream in the summer and going into the fall now, we came up with the Learn and Earn food truck as one of the catalysts for that.
Oh, that's great.
And so we've been very fortunate. It was an idea and a wonderful concept that we were going to be able to, number one, have a food truck, which actually we purchased. It's a food trailer because it's bigger than a food truck. It's about 35 feet long, and we can actually fit multiple people in it rather than just the one or two that you would typically see. So we have the program laid out where they're not only learning the culinary skills, but they're learning the financial literacy, the entrepreneurship. They're learning all those soft skills that we talked about earlier. And the biggest part is that they are earning a paycheck. So they're learning, they're earning at the same time. And what we love about this trailer is that we can really engage our community. So for example, we had a little kickoff event. The Bush Family Foundation was our premier sponsor on this. They gave us the lead gift to start this whole amazing initiative to start going. And they actually brought mentors in from their business, and they had a little chef competition, a little chop competition where we paired the teens with an adult, and they all built a club sandwich. And so each of the teams,
so cute.
There was 4, they built the club based off of what they want. You know, some had bacon, some had jellies, some had peppers on them. And we had a panel of judges, which was Leslie Christoph, who's the president of Kaiser, Sean Boyle from Children's Services Council, and then Philip Bush from Southern Eagle Distributing. They all decided who the winner was. And so the winning sandwich is going to be featured on the food truck, and I heard it's quite tasty. I didn't personally try it yet, but it got the teens so excited about it. But what we loved a lot is that we had this group of mentors, which if you saw our newspaper article, they worked with the kids on building the sandwich, and the adults really loved it. And some of them had past experience in restaurants, culinary, hospitality.
About that. Yeah.
And so we would welcome some additional mentors to come from other restaurants to start teaching the kids about different recipes and fresh foods. Nelson Family Farms is a great partnership with this project. And we talked to them about, you know, introducing them to new fruits and vegetables and what are we going to build out of that. So there's a lot of possibilities with this.
So down the road, what your plan is with the food truck is for it to go out and actually, you know, be in neighborhoods and feed people?
Absolutely. So we, starting in the new year, we're going to set up basically a whole day where we could do stops in the morning, at lunchtime, and then the afternoon. Now, the teens will be working the program primarily in the afternoon, but we've located a lot of businesses that may have employees on site, and maybe they have a couple hundred employees and they can't leave. So we know that we're going to be able to be stationed at some of these businesses and supply a catering menu for them. We talked about the fact that a lot of people maybe not feel comfortable going out to restaurants yet. So we said we could host block parties for neighborhoods. We could pull the food truck up and maybe the neighborhood tells us some things they're interested in and the kids can serve them. We
kind of like when the ice cream man used to come.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are comfortable being outside, so it's just another avenue to do something fun. And then obviously leading up this, starting in November and December, we have a little fun tour called the Fa La 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 food truck. So we want to stop at businesses and have like hot cocoa and cookies and just really show how this is a grassroots effort and some branding for the whole community, because it's just really exciting, and I think people would love to have a little bit of joy right now.
So if you're a business and you're listening to this and you would like the Fa La 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 is that the right amount of laws?
Yeah.
A food truck to come to your business. How do people get involved?
So they can call us at the Boys and Girls Club, and it's 460-9918. They can visit our social media page. We have a Facebook page, or go to our website. And we would love to make some stops and just really show our community what we have to offer and get the teens excited. This is kind of their little pre-branding for what's going to roll out in January. And one really cool aspect to this that I didn't mention before is that we are going to be having specific times that our teens are going to be feeding the food insecure as well. So we want to teach the kids the give back piece and the good citizenship. So they're going to select different charities that we're going to partner with, and they're going to bring the food truck into communities and maybe feed families, or maybe it's a homeless population, and really try to give back at certain times of the year as well.
Do all of your kids have the opportunity to participate, or do they have to apply to participate?
There's going to be an application process. That's not to say that the majority of our kids will be able to participate in the program in some aspect, because we're going to have some behind the scenes things going on. What our goal is to have a small group that's kind of our leadership group that's going to be on the actual truck for, say, a quarter of the year, and then we'll keep rotating that.
Oh, that's a great idea. And just the planning of it is something that so many of them can take part of too. They don't have to be on the truck itself to help come up with the ideas for, maybe another holiday thing, doing something around Valentine's Day, or
Absolutely.
Some type of summer or welcome to summer activity. And as you said, there are so many things that we've looked at over the last 7 or 8 months that we can't do, that I think our teenagers and our kids too are kind of looking at, well, we can't do this and we can't do that and we can't do this. But instead kind of flip the script and talk about what we can do, and because of the pandemic, what is something that will work even better. And one of the things is bringing the food to you. As you said, some people are not comfortable going to a restaurant, whereas they would be a whole lot more comfortable with a food truck that was working under sanitary conditions and pulling up in the parking lot, and they were able to get their food right there.
Yeah, and what's really neat about it is that we are going to have some certifications that the kids are going to learn as part of this. So they could graduate high school, and besides what they could get in school in the high schools with their CTEs, there's additional certifications that we're developing partnerships right now that they'll be able to have. And Boys and Girls Club, we're big networkers, and we like to build relationships, and we like to connect people. So one of the things we're wanting to establish is a pipeline of different businesses. So if this is our food truck program, we would love to partner with all of our restaurant partners and be able to say, okay, after you work the food truck, maybe you want to go on to one of these other locations to work. And the food truck is just one of some of our other aspects that we're touching on next year. We also have a facilities and maintenance team that we're developing. We have lawn maintenance and landscaping that we're working on. We have vehicle detailing, and then the digital art. So as we talked about before, maybe some of the kids are really good at learning how to do some of the marketing pieces. And maybe they want to set up their own podcast about the food truck, or maybe they're going to do their own cooking show. Who knows? So there's a lot of aspects that we've asked our teens what are areas they enjoy. And then we looked at, as an organization, specific things that we know they can learn on site with us. But the goal is always to create the pipeline, create the pathway for them, and then be able to share these wonderful youth with the rest of the community.
I love the fact that they're helping to create that pathway themselves, so they feel ownership of it. And, they're proud of what they've accomplished, yes, but they also are proud of what they're leaving behind for the kids that come after them, their legacy. So tell me some more about some of the programs that you're working on, although your hands have got to be kind of full with some of the things that you're doing right now with this. What do you have your clubhouses more operational now that school is back in session?
Absolutely. We actually have 22 sites that we're operating Boys and Girls Clubs. So primarily we have our before and after care programs. We're at 15 schools, and then we're in 5 neighborhood clubs. And then additionally, we have a site at the Mid-Florida Event Center that's open for our Learning Launchpad, which I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment. And then we have another site at Westside, which is Westside Church off of Jenkins, that is also a Launchpad site.
And that's the one that just opened about a month or so ago, right?
Yes, it's a beautiful property.
Yeah.
It's on so many acres, beautiful building. And what we're excited about with the Learning Launchpad right now, so parents obviously are trying to make some decisions as far as the education of their kids this year and what works for them personally and for their family. And so those parents that have decided that they want their children to be on school virtually on the My School option, but maybe the parents are wanting to go to work, they can drop them off at one of our 6 sites, which are located in neighborhoods and at the Mid-Florida Event Center in Westside. And we have our professionally trained staff there to walk them through their school day, make sure that they have access to their electronics, their technology, and parents can do what they need to do, and the kids can even stay after school. We have the after school program for them as well.
And this gives them the opportunity to get their schoolwork done and be responsible, excuse me, and get it done without the parents having to worry about it too. So not just in a safe and nurturing place, but also in a place where they can get their work done, and maybe somebody who understands math better than mom and dad might, or understands, another level of literature that they might not get at home. The staff you have, the team that you have in place that works with your Launchpad. They tend to be a little bit younger adults, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a whole spectrum of ages that work for us. So typically in a club, you have your club director, program director, and then we have youth development specialists. And our youth development specialists are trained in so many aspects. It's not just typical, you would think maybe it's, what are they training them in recreation?
Right.
No, we have specific safety trainings. We get trained in DCF protocol. We have a lot of training actually now with social emotional learning and just teaching that whole mental health aspect as well. So our staff get so many hours of training from us, and they're learning so much, and our goal is to develop. We do have a lot of young staff, and sometimes they come on as teenagers, and we train them, and they go on to work with us in different positions, or maybe they go on to work for the school district. So we're very proud of our team. We have over 160 employees, and a lot of them have worked for us a very long time, and they really are passionate about working with children and take it up a whole nother level when we have them.
Do you also have teachers on staff, or is that just at certain points of the day?
Yes, we do have teachers on staff, and we primarily have them in the afternoon at all of our neighborhood clubs, so that we monitor our kids' grades. So whether it's on Skyward or the report cards when we get them, we have an idea of where students are at. And then if they need a little extra help, we have the teachers there to be able to, touch on those subject areas that are a little bit maybe more complicated, that they need a little bit more tutoring on.
Does the Learning Launchpad, I know you have 2 different, there's a pay program, but there's also a program where parents can apply to get either reduced or free.
The Learning
tuition.
Launchpad program is free.
It is
It is
completely
100% free
Okay.
at all of our Boys and Girls Club sites. That is provided through the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County in partnership with St. Lucie County with the CARES Act. So they wanted to provide that for parents free of charge. besides Boys and Girls Club, there's also other Launchpad locations. And some I don't believe they do, but maybe if some had a fee, it was probably for the aftercare or if there's
I
a
gotcha.
before.
Yeah.
But I know for us, we're not charging an additional amount.
So how can a parent find out more about that? Or can they apply through you, or do they have to apply
Absolutely.
somewhere else?
They can reach us through our website, and we actually have an application listed on our website, which is bgcofslc.org, or they can call our office at 460-9918. There's also information available on Children's Services Council's website as well.
Can they pick the location that they want?
Yes, we actually have availability at all of our locations. And what's neat about Boys and Girls Club is we really tried to diversify where we were located so that we have that any parent has access. So whether you live in Southport, St. Lucie, or you live out west in Fort Pierce, or you live in North Fort Pierce, or you live in East Port St. Lucie, we have a location for you.
And finally, is qualifying for it income based, or is it a free service open to any parent and family?
So it is based off of some of the income, but it's mainly if a parent or a family can tell us why, if COVID has impacted them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's based off of that. The other piece is if you are considered an essential employee, and there's hundreds and hundreds of careers that are considered essential. So we walk parents through that. Most people have qualified under one of those categories.
So while the application is on the website, if you need help filling it out, you can contact someone with the Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely. Our club directors will walk you through that.
Yeah.
And if you go on our website, there's a phone number for each of the clubs. So you could pick your location, you could fill out the application online, or you can just call our club, and they're more than happy to walk you through what the kids' day will look like. We actually provide breakfast and lunch for those kids as well. So it's kind of a one-stop, and the kids are taken care of.
So, some parents might be saying, how is this different than sending my kid to school to the regular classes?
So the difference is that we are providing a guaranteed small group. So kids are at a 1-to-9 ratio. Sometimes
Wow.
it's smaller than that.
Yeah.
And we have them separated into different cohorts that they stay in for the whole day. So we can tell you that option is available. And because we've separated the kids into multiple locations, it's allowed for that.
That's awesome. So, it's a smaller group, more limited exchange, and you get to pick your location. So it sounds like the program is something that is good for now, but is this something that you're going to continue, do you think?
As of right now, we're continuing as long as the funding's available. We have it available, and this is for kindergarteners all the way through seniors in high school. So we actually have locations where we have teenagers as well.
Okay, and that's a great distinction to make, because some people listening to this might think you're talking about little kids, but you're not. You're talking about kindergarten through all the way through senior,
Mm-hmm.
because some teenagers might lose focus even though they're safe enough to be left home alone. They might lose focus unless they're in a situation where they're being encouraged. And if mom or dad is working, they can't be calling home every half hour saying, what did you do? What did you turn in?
As a youth development professional myself, and being in the Boys and Girls Club for so many years, I can say that the best place for kids to be if they're not in school and the parents aren't able to be home is with a caring adult, and that's what we provide at Boys and Girls Club. And we build relationships. It's more than just the schoolwork. I mean, they're there all day. If they're on a break, they're either helping them with their meal or we're playing a game of carpet ball. So there's so much more to it, and the kids really enjoy it, and that's why we have members that are with us for so many years.
Wait, what? Carpet ball?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to hear more about carpet ball. This sounds like fun.
So carpet ball is one of our favorite games, and I can attest to this. As a child, I always wanted to go up to the pool table and not use the stick, and we would throw the pool balls back and forth and usually dent a wall or something.
Yes.
So Boys and Girls Club has carpet ball tables in all their clubs. They're actually like a pool table, but picture it has a deep bottom. So kids can actually throw the balls back and forth, and they roll
don't bounce
them.
out.
Yeah, and they're hitting, they hit the opponent's balls into their little cubby there, and whoever gets them all in wins first.
Okay, did you invent this, or this is a thing?
I'd like to take credit for that, but I think it's existed. And
Okay.
I just know that it's a Boys and Girls Club staple. I don't know if we're
Okay.
the only clubs. Some clubs across the nation have them as well, but our kids love it. They just love that game. And so does Will Armstead, our CEO. That's one of his favorite games.
Yeah, I can see that. He's just a big kid.
He'll go in and play the kids, and it's a good time.
Yeah, and he's also very competitive,
Oh,
too,
yes, he
so-
beats the kids. So.
Yes. I'm sure. Well, it sounds like that's a good option for kids who are still, you're still looking at, maybe you've kept your child home virtually, and maybe you've been able to work from home up until this point, and you're starting to go back to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to look at an option, or maybe your child has been home by themselves, or grandma or grandpa or the neighbor's been looking in on them, and you didn't know this type of option was out there. But
Absolutely. We know that there's thousands of kids at home right now, and we want to make sure people know this service is available and that there's no cost to it. And that's the whole purpose of it. It's just to help our community get back on its feet, to support the kids and really support the parents so they can go do what they need to do as well and feel that their children are in a safe environment.
do you have a lot of sibling groups that are part of the program,
Yes,
too?
we do. So some of our clubs have the little ones all the way up to teenagers that are going there. And that's nice because it's one stop for the parents.
Yeah. Okay, everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
See you later. One of the things you and I talked about before we walked into the station, we were talking about kids and what they're thinking about. And, with us as adults, we see articles, we see television shows, we see blogs, we see memes. We've seen it all, and we have a lot of information that we're digesting. Some of it is up to date and some of it may not be as up to date. But for the kids, they're not seeing the whole big picture, and they don't really understand exactly what it means for them for now and for the future, and what a pandemic means. And Mel, you were saying on your way in that the big thing in your house is Halloween. Are we still going to be able to have Halloween? And you got to put it in perspective of through a child's eyes, what they're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to be really aware of what is important to children and what impact something like a momentous event such as Halloween has on them. Children are looking for a sense of normalcy. Teenagers are looking for a sense of normalcy. They're missing the structure. They're missing those staple things that happen during a calendar year for them that bring them joy. And as we opened way back in May, when we opened our first summer camps, we really had to take that into consideration and train our staff on what was it going to look like for when the kids came back. How could we provide as much of a comfortable environment for them that went back to what things used to be like, but it was in a safe manner? How were we continuing those relationships so that they felt just that sense of control that children need? So part of social emotional learning and even the concept of trauma-informed care is giving kids choices, making sure that they have the schedule and these normal things for them. And so I think that as an organization, we've really had to take a hard look and train our staff and prepare and have the resources so that kids do have that sense, and that's going to keep their behaviors in check. That's going to keep them from really worrying more than they should. Some of this mental health piece that we're starting to see now, because there are going to be some effects to the fact that this has just been a whirlwind for them.
It has been, and then for everybody, it's really gone on a lot longer than we ever expected. But there's so many lessons that have been learned from it too. I think one of the most important is that the need for children to be able to make those choices and to be able to feel like they had some type of power and not have everything be told to them of what they're going to do. Because, as grown-ups, we kind of feel that way too.
Yeah, every choice that you could give a child is just putting them in a better position. So some of the things we do, even when the kids, and I know the schools do this too, and it's so important, when they walk into our clubs, they get to choose how they're greeted, or maybe they choose what program. I was at one of our clubs at Palm Point a couple of weeks ago, and they give the kids a choice on Friday. They have their mini clubs. So you had the cooking club, you had the art club, you had the basketball club, and then they had a dance club, and they let the kids choose, which one do you want? And that was important for those kids, because that was their opportunity to say, all right, this is what I'm going to do today. And it just puts them in a better mindset.
With so many things that are out of our control, both for children and adults, it's nice to be able to feel like you can make a choice. And, I'd kind of like to be a club kid right now too. It would be kind of fun to have nothing else to worry about on Fridays and choosing between dance and basketball.
Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier is you talked about our Youth of the Year program and about what things our kids are learning or how they actually come out of their shell. And more often than not, it's not so much the kids' stories of like, oh, I got better grades, or, oh, maybe I got better at sports. So many of the kids come back and tell us, that was the first time I found my voice. That was the first time I made friends. That was the first time I spoke up for myself. That's what I'm seeing more often, is that the kids are just coming into their own. They're learning their own personal brand. They're becoming themselves. They're getting their voice. And I just think that's truly unique. And the club really gives them that opportunity to do that.
And that's very well explained. I mean, it makes it kind of, if you're listening and you have kids at home, you may want your kids to be club kids just for that reason alone. But if you don't have kids at home and you're a business and you're listening to this, there's a lot of different ways you can partner with Boys and Girls Club as well.
Absolutely.
And Melanie's talked about a few different things, different options, but one of the easiest things you can do is to go to their social media and like it or share it. The information you'll find out about different initiatives and special events. And, I know a lot of the nonprofit organizations, for them, volunteering has pretty much come to a standstill as you're trying to maintain, the conditions that are as safe as possible for the kids. But are there still some ways people can volunteer?
Absolutely. We still have volunteers that are coming in. We do screenings. Any of our staff or volunteers that are coming in, obviously we do health screenings for them so that they can be in a safe space with our kids. But there's other opportunities administrative-wise that we could utilize people. We also have done like different things where we're giving out food, or we're out in the community doing some celebrations and such. So I think if people call us, I talked to somebody the other day. I was actually at Chuck Hill's memorial service, and I know I spoke to somebody in his family that was wanting to come in and start helping with some of the tutoring and such. So we have a lot of opportunities.
It's interesting how just about everybody who's anybody in St. Lucie County has at one point either volunteered for or worked for or been a club kid or been involved in some way with the Boys and Girls Club, and benefited from it, mentally or in a personal growth capacity, or even, financially. If you're a business, it's a good financial investment to invest in the youth because you're helping to train tomorrow's leaders.
Absolutely. We look at our partnerships with businesses as you said the right word. It's an investment. If you're making an investment in our kids, the expectation is that we are taking those donations and we're developing the kids. We're providing them with unique opportunities. We're providing the programming that's relevant to this community, which something I mentioned, the workforce readiness. Those are things we listen to the community, and that's what we want to provide. So it's not, we have wonderful things from Boys and Girls Club of America nationally that are given to us and programming, but we really put our ear to the ground, visit with other nonprofits, visit with the county, the cities, look at their strategic plans, and we base what we do off of that and listening to our parents and kids. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Mm-hmm. We feel that St. Lucie County is truly unique, and that's why we're looking at workforce readiness in the future as an area of big investment, and we're excited about all those partners that want to come along that journey with us.
So if people want to get involved as a business with the workforce development as you move forward with it, how do they do that?
So they can contact us at the club, visit our website. We have workforce partners in all different arenas. So maybe they want to host a virtual tour or an on-site tour for a small group. Maybe they want to invest in one of our programs or help us to, maybe have a new resource like a special computer program, or maybe we do something in our maintenance program that they think will benefit the community in the future. We have a lot of really unique ways that we can really personalize it to each business and really show them where it is a win-win. It's a win for our kids, and it's a win for them in the future, where it will eventually set this pipeline up for them.
What does the future look like for Boys and Girls Club? And when I say the future, I don't mean 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'm talking about January 2021. What do you have that's coming down the pipeline that you've planned that just hasn't happened yet?
So coming up in January, we have our workforce program that we're building on, and I think people will see some areas that they can get involved in that. We're also looking at potentially expanding into new areas. So I know earlier you had some guests on your show that were talking about the Lighthouse Youth Development Complex. Mm-hmm. So that's a potential building down the road. There's some other areas we're looking at as well, because right now with social distancing and making sure that our kids are safe, we are running out of space in our clubs. The schools, we have a lot of opportunity right now for kids, but if they're coming to the neighborhood clubhouses, we will get to a point where we're just outgrowing where we're at. Mm-hmm. And we are always looking at new opportunities to expand to new locations. One of the examples is a wonderful partnership that we established last summer with the city of Port St. Lucie at the Mid-Florida Event Center.
Right.
Now they're enabling us to come and have our summer camp there every year. So we have that worked out for the next couple of years, but that's the great partnership because parents will know that's available to them, and we know that we can serve hundreds of kids that way.
And at the same time, too, it's a partnership for the Mid-Florida Event Center, too, in that people who might not know that there's a full-service gym there, mm-hmm. or not understand that the meeting rooms or an entertainment venue or outside entertainment venue, that there's a lot of different options there. And so you're bringing those parents in to that and those kids in there, and then they see what else that they could do with Mid-Florida. So if you have a venue like that, well, maybe not quite that big, but or else we would already know about it, right? Or if you have an idea, it sounds like the folks at Boys and Girls Club and Melanie are very open-minded about partnering with new ideas and moving in new directions.
Absolutely. We're very excited about 2021. We know that we're going to be able to serve more kids and in more intentional ways. We actually won the Best Program Award for the state of Florida from all the Boys and Girls Clubs. There's 41 Boys and Girls Clubs in the state for Enter the Future program, which was the workforce program.
For the Enter the Future program. That is so exciting.
We want to put St. Lucie County on the map. There's some other awards that maybe we could share in our next visit with you that are coming down the pike. So we're excited. We're starting to see that a lot of the efforts that our staff have put in are being recognized, and especially them as a culture really working through the pandemic and just doing whatever it takes to build the great futures of these kids.
So in general, if you're a business and you're listening to the show and you want to get involved, follow your social media, check out the website, or contact them at 460-9918. Or, if you check them out on social media, you'll see the type of events and the types of programs that you're doing, because you guys do a great job of keeping that up to date. If you're a volunteer, you can also, check it out ahead of time, or give somebody a call. Is there somebody who's volunteer coordinator? Or
Yes, Maureen in our office will get people signed up. We have our volunteer application available on our website.
So you can find that on the website too.
It's a touchless piece there for communication. And then I did want to mention, because you brought up Youth of the Year earlier, our Youth of the Year event is going to be on February 19th. We are making that a gala. Right now we're going to give an in-person option as well as a virtual option.
Yes.
But we always are looking for coaches for that, panelists, as we prepare our kids for that. And actually this year in April, Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County is hosting the State Youth of the Year competition. So as I mentioned before, those 40 plus clubs across the whole state will be competing. And every year it's in a different city, like a Sarasota, or maybe it's Tallahassee. But this year it's coming to St. Lucie County.
Because you guys are getting noticed.
Yes, so we're going to need judges for that and some support in making that happen. We have a wonderful committee.
So back to the St. Lucie County Youth of the Year competition that's going to take place on February 19th. How soon are you going to be needing coaches and volunteers and things set up for that, and sponsors?
We already are accepting coaches for that right now. Sponsors, we should have our sponsorship packet out in November. So opportunities where people can support our kids. And what's really neat about Youth of the Year is that we have awards for the kids too, to include scholarships to college. They usually get iPads, like goodie bags, things that really they work so hard for that program.
An iPad is a step above a goodie bag.
Yeah,
I
no
think.
kidding. No kidding.
That's a heck of a goodie bag.
So they, we have all of that built into the program. It's really recognition for them. And as I said, in February, we plan to really roll out that event and invite everybody from the community in one way or the other if they can be with us. And then all of that is a fundraiser that goes back to operate the programs to support not just those teens that are there that night, but this upcoming generation that are coming down the pike that are at our clubs right now.
What type of skill set do you think somebody needs to be a coach or to be a volunteer for Boys and Girls Club?
Well, I think the great thing about Youth of the Year is maybe we have some people that are really good at editing and they can coach on the essay piece. Maybe somebody else is better at speech writing or helping build up the kids in that area, or even interview skills. And what's neat is because we are in this virtual world, there's a lot that can be done via Zoom. So there's different opportunities. It doesn't always mean you have to come in person.
Right. And so, I like the way you're, again, flipping the script. And now you have an opportunity for more people to be involved who might not have had the time to come physically and volunteer, but can give you the time to interview, to help the kids learn how to handle the interview skills and the writing, the editing, and the speech. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of interested. I've never served as a coach before. I think one year I was one of the judges, and I've been a volunteer before. But that sounds like I know, listening to the kids, that they all have such a great story to tell, and it's a lot of fun being able to bring out the best in their storytelling abilities.
Well, absolutely. We should have 5 candidates this year. So there's plenty of kids that need some help. And then another aspect that we're looking at this year is because it most likely is going to be virtual, and even the state competition, we need to prepare them virtually and a face-to-face. So it's almost like they have to double down. They have to learn both aspects. They have to look presentable via Zoom. They have to project their voice in different ways than most kids wouldn't have to in the past. So they're learning all different things.
Right, and actually there's a lot of adults who could take some of those lessons to heart as well. You should record some of that teaching for them. Melanie, we only have a couple more minutes left. Is there anything else that you'd like to add for people who are listening to the show?
Absolutely. I think that we just want everyone to keep in mind, number one, the resources Boys and Girls Club has to offer. So if you know somebody that needs the daytime learning launchpad, the after school or before school program, if they want to mentor a child. But also there's a lot of individuals or businesses right now that may be looking to make an investment and to make a difference by the end of the year. And we do have our holiday appeal going on right now. So we would love to talk to you about that and see where you'd like to make a big impact in these kids' lives.
And find out where the connection is personally for you.
Absolutely.
So who would be the person to talk to if you're looking at being a sponsor? Is there a particular person, or can you find that information on your website?
They can visit our website. They can call myself, Melanie Wiles, at 460-9918, or they can speak to Jack Barrett, who's our Vice President of Development.
And I like the fact that you're phrasing it as a partnership and not a sponsorship too, because there's on both sides they're getting some advantage. Like, you can be using their funds and they get, a tax advantage, but they're also getting that feeling of giving back to the community in a way that shows, that is obvious to everybody. And I don't know that there is any greater gift than helping to give back to the youth.
Yeah. They're our future. That's who's going to be taking care of us. And
they are.
They're worth it.
Melanie Wiles has been my guest, and she's the COO for the Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County. You can check out their website,
www.bgcofslc.org.
or look them up on Facebook. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week with more.
The Sue Ellen Sanders Show with archives on YouTube. Look for WPSL TV on YouTube and look up the archives for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. And while you're there, subscribe, like, and share. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie.